computer. Okay, cool. I think we are recording. Okay, so I'm so excited for tonight. Rachel is amazing. I've done a few trainings with her, so you guys probably know who she is. She's a top 48 incomer. She earned her spot at Surf and Turf. She's a presidential diamond, and she's consistently enrolling a bunch of customers and distributors and just leading by example. So I'm so excited to have you on, and thank you so much for just being able to hop on here with us. I pretty much just want you to, I know we have questions and stuff, but just start off with your story like always, and then we'll jump into the questions. And if you guys have any other questions, just make sure to put them in the chat box as Rachel talks.
Okay, I feel so honored to be on here. I'm just like so obsessed with Ashley, and it's so funny because I don't know, being in this business for 4 years, it's like I don't know, I feel like we stick to like the same people, and it's harder to be super inspired by certain people, but I don't know, I'm obsessed with you, and I'm never going to unfollow you on Instagram. So I feel honored to be on here. So anyways, yeah, I'm Rachel, and I'm actually celebrating my 4 years with this company in like 2 weeks on the 18th of this month. So that's super crazy. But a little bit about my story. I joined literally days after my 22nd birthday. And so my husband and I, we've been together for 8 years. And when I was 20, I got pregnant right in the middle of my college education. And my stepdad was paying for my education, so I was forced to finish. Otherwise, I definitely would have been a college dropout. But that wasn't part of the plan, getting pregnant at 20. So as you can imagine, we were young, dumb, broke. I feel like that's a song. Living on government assistance, just is struggling. And Zach was a manager at a call center, driving about an hour to work both ways. His hours were abused, salary pay. I was still trying to finish my degree. I was serving when I could, planning our wedding. He also just proposed right before I joined It Works. It was like my birthday proposal, It Works. And so I was busy, and I had tried something like this, you guys. I tried another network marketing company fresh out of high school. It was like no plan. I just got talked into it, and I try not to name drop, but it just was more so for older people, and it wasn't my thing, and I sucked really bad. And so because I sucked at that company, I figured that I would never do something like this again, because if I'm bad at one, then I'm probably bad at them all, because I'm not a salesperson, you know, all those excuses that we always hear, that was me. And so I wasn't looking for this, and I think that's something that's so important, because I think that sometimes we get caught up in looking for the people that are looking for it, but sometimes it's such a beautiful blessing that they don't even realize until it's placed right in their eyes. So there was one person posting on social media at the time, nobody else. I never heard about it from anybody else. And you guys, Jade Hooper lives 30 minutes away from me, and she wasn't even on my social media, so I didn't hear it from her. Not bashing Jade, she's my girl, I freaking love her. But isn't that so crazy? So one person was posting about it. I was interested in the products, and I used my birthday money to buy one wrap, and I fell in love with my results. She tried getting me as a customer, and I kind of had that reality check again of like, oh crap, we live paycheck to paycheck. Like, I'm really never going to be able to be a customer. And I felt kind of like embarrassed, and I expressed that I would probably never be able to become a customer. And she, you know, rebutted with, maybe you should join me and make more money and blah, 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 blah. And I gave her excuse after excuse after excuse, and she had a rebuttal for each one. So that was obviously intriguing to me. And long story short, she told me enough to where I had that pit in my stomach. And so I ended up calling Zach's emergency line. We didn't have the money in our account, so I knew I needed him to like hand over the credit card, our last credit card, mind you. So I knew that was going to be a fight, and we argued on the phone, and I got my way, and I just told him just to trust me. Just to trust me, that's all I needed. I didn't need him to understand. I didn't need him to join. I just needed trust. And so because he was my fiance at the time, I mean, he knew that that was his role, was to support me. He might have thought it was a scam. He might have this, that, like the typical male, right? But he loved me and trusted me, so he gave me a shot, and he gave me that credit card to use. And so I remember him telling me, you just have to at least make that $100 back. If you suck, that's fine, but you have to make the $100 back. So I had that on my shoulders. And Carter, my oldest, was 8 months old at the time, and I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So while I joined kind of like for extra money for him and the family, I more so joined for Zach, and I wanted to be good. I wanted to be good for Zach. And so I knew that I could make a couple $100 a month, and I did it instantly. And that kind of like fueled my fire. And again, you guys, I was still in college, still serving, you know, I was busy. So I knew I had to sacrifice a lot and do this when I could, downtime in lecture hall, on my breaks while I was waitressing, while Carter was sleeping, just a lot of sacrificing. And I went diamond in 3 months to get that $10,000 bonus. That's when things changed for Zach. He saw the real money, the comma in the paycheck. And then 2 months later was 5 months in, and I went double and he went diamond. And that was the first time Mark had doubled the bonuses. So that was $60,000 in bonuses 5 months in, and we're still 22 years old. And he was hating his job, hating not having a relationship with our son. And he made the decision for us and said, let's just both quit. The day after we promoted, we both quit our jobs. And again, 22 years old, 5 months into this foreign company that nobody's heard about, and we quit our jobs and ran with it. I was boxed for triple the month after, and I know a question is going to get me to talk more about that. But I didn't end up going triple until a year after I went double diamond. Right after I got triple diamond, I got pregnant with my second son. Things were crazy with that, but good. And then I went presidential last April, and now we are in the top 50 of the company. Our boys don't know anything different but to have us home with them, and life is just so crazy good. That was my short version of my story.
That's okay. I love it. That's so awesome. Okay, so I know we have lots of questions, and we want to keep this not super long, but it always goes longer than we plan. Okay, so whenever you sign up a new distributor, how are you starting them off?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So this is something that I've changed like 50, 100 million times since joining. And what works lately for, I mean, honestly, since around when I went pres, so I've been doing this for over a year now, this method, I sign them up, and immediately I add them to my team page, and I add them to the short video that I have on my team page. It's like a 6-minute, like who I am, how excited I am. First step is to make your 30s list. This is so important. This is 30 people closest to you, family and friends. If you don't hit 30, that's okay. If you surpass 30, that's even better. You need to make your list right away, type it or write it, and then send a message to the person that signed you up with your list and tell them you're ready for the next step. And so that's kind of what my video shares. And I tag them in that video, and then I wait for them to message me. You know, some people don't message me for a couple of days, and I'm like, where are you at? Did you watch that video? Like, if you can't even do that first step kind of thing. But most of them do message me because that's what it says in the video, and they actually watch it. And when they message me, they're like, I have my 30s list, and I'm ready for that next step. And then I give them this little tacky little script for friends and family, probably the same one that you use. And I tell them that they're going to send it to each person individually. I make sure I put that in there because people would start sending it to like 50 people on their messenger at once. And I'm like, no, I hate that. I hate that. So I tell them to send it individually. And then I'm very, very, very strict and stern about, you can't respond on your own. You have to send me each screenshot from each conversation. And this is something that makes them feel like they're annoying you, so you have to be very reassuring. And it is sometimes a little bit annoying. You know, sometimes if you sign up a distributor at a grocery store and they're rolling and you're like trying to grocery shop and they're sending you screenshot, but this works because I realized that, you know, when I wasn't strict enough telling them I'm going to walk you through every single conversation, they were doing it on their own, and they thought they were doing so good, bless their hearts, but they were not saying the right thing. And I was like, why is nobody signing up their first like 4 customers? And it was making sense. So I'm very serious and stern and maybe a little bit bossy when it comes to that, because I want them to take me seriously, and I want them to know that their job is to annoy me, or the person they signed up with. And yeah, we roll with that. So when they finish their 30s list, I usually figure out what type of post we should put up on their page. And I used to give the same post. I mean, and I'm not bashing that if people do that, but I don't know what works perfectly for your first post. So I kind of feel it out per person. Some people want to introduce it and they want to have a long story of why. Other people don't even really want to, and they want to jump right into a hair post or something like that. So I think it really depends. Some people don't even get their first post up for their first 2 or 3 days. And again, I don't know if that's something right or wrong, but I think that for us, what works for us is getting that 30s list messaged immediately. And then as people are responding and they're saying, I can't afford it, or I'm not interested, or whatever, we're falling back on host to post immediately. And that's something that I didn't do. I was like, I'm trying to teach one thing at a time. I'm not trying to throw host to post in there. But I was realizing that so many people were getting discouraged because mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, they were all not interested. And then when they were interested, we're like, okay, bye, instead of leading into host to post. And they were so defeated right off the bat. So I'm trying to, I feel like I kind of bite off more than I can chew, and I'm like trying to teach all these things, but that's been working the best. I stopped doing newbie chats just because right now that phase isn't working. I love chats, but I feel like they go through phases. So right now what's been working for us is just treating every individual individually. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, and maybe we're working harder, not smarter right now, but I've realized that right now in this season of life, everybody needs my one-on-one individual attention because they all work at different paces. So that's what we do. And then I just try to get them interacting on the team page and using that search bar and really being a self-starter as soon as they can.
Yes, I do the exact same thing.
Oh, good.
So if you have that 30, like the 30 people, what they'd send to them, send that my way so we can put that, because I know a lot of people are going to want that.
Okay.
But I do the same thing with screenshots, and it's like, I do agree sometimes it's like, it is annoying because I just told you what to say, but it's like you have to walk them through it. If not, they're going to quit and they're not going to get those customers. So I always say send these screenshots because we know how to seal the deal, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously have like a huge amount of people on your team. So how are you inspiring all of these people on your team? Do you have layered leadership? Are you reaching out to people who are just killing it? Do you do shout outs on your page? How exactly do you go about making sure that everyone feels important in your team?
Yeah, so this is something that I feel like maybe I'm really hard on myself, but I feel like I may potentially lack layered leadership because I'm kind of overly hands-on sometimes, and I feel like sometimes that's detrimental. But I personally feel like what inspires them, you know, I don't know, being in it for 4 years and having the ups and the downs, and this is another question I know you're asking me towards the end, I think, but when I like went from high to low and I had that time where I had a rebuild and I really struggled and then I came back from it, when it was obvious that I came back from it, I dropped my guards and I really opened up and I was vulnerable about the hard times of the business because that was the first time I really dealt with hard times. And I think that once I realized that we're gonna like life is gonna happen whether you're in this business or out of this business and all of that, I realized that I just wanted to be the best open book for my team as possible because if you seem too perfect and you seem too secretive and like just perfect, I mean, how do you expect them to connect with you or to stick it out when something hard does happen? So I haven't gone through it all, but I have gone through depression with a pregnancy. I have gone through with losing myself in my weight. I have gone through marriage issues. I have gone through friendships, backstabbing, losing people in this business. I've gone through a lot, but I haven't gone through deaths. I haven't gone through certain things, but I try to be as open and honest as those things that I did go through because I think that when they know they can relate to you, it makes it easier when they're going through something hard to reach out to you and maybe you're able to talk them off the ledge instead of one of those situations where you log into your back office and it's red and it's canceled and you're like, what the heck happened? And you're blocked on social media and they feel like they're so alone, right? So being an open book, I think has really helped me inspire them. Maybe this is awkward that my team's on here because I don't know if I'm speaking for them or not, but being an open book, really leading from the front, I realized, during my slow months when I was having a personal slow month, but I was like barking so much and telling them what to do, that wasn't doing anything for them because I wasn't backing up what I was preaching. So trying to I honestly annoy myself, but I think it's working for them because when I'm doing something that's working, I'm always blowing up the page. I posted like 7 times today. When I sign a customer up and it was something crazy, like because I did a crazy follow-up or whatever, I'm sending a screenshot to the page and my team page isn't even that great. Honestly, I've like started a new one like 3 different times because of different situations and it's super small and it doesn't get a lot of likes on the posts, but I just try to ignore that and I try to just be open. When something's working for me, I want everybody to know. I don't want it to be a secret, just because it's working for me. So I think those 2 things really help in just trying to be as open and available as I can. I do want to be friends with everyone on my team, but I think that I think I do a good job of also being read when appropriate. And so I think the biggest thing probably would be leading from the front. I got caught up in micromanaging, and I think a lot of us are guilty of that. It's so easy when you're doing good in this business and when you promote to diamond and above to tell everybody what to do because we did what we had to do to get there. And I think sometimes we get caught up in that trap. And it's so funny because even being in it for 4 years and being a presidential, I was laying in bed last night thinking about it. I don't know, I had a conversation with the sideline and I was in my head feeling like such a bad leader, feeling like I didn't have enough connections. And I think what's good to remember is that you're never going to stop learning. You're never going to start growing. Hopefully you're not done growing and you're just, evolving and always trying. I just want to be the best that I can be. And so I'm trying to always pick myself apart in healthy ways and just be the best I can be and be as open and honest as possible. I think that's what inspires them the most.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like how you were saying, like micromanaging, I feel like sometimes when people, even after they get, certain people on a certain amount of people on their team, they'll start to tell them, like you need to start doing this and that. And it's like the best thing that you can do, like you said, is lead by example. And I have one over by my desk. I have like my 2018 goals and like in front of it, like the biggest thing says lead by example. And I feel like I didn't even know what that meant at that time. But now that I look back, it's just like, that's what I know what it is now, and being so open with your team, I think that is why I've had people who have struggled be able to stick through it, knowing that my business hasn't been perfect. And I know we're going to talk about that with you in a little bit, but I think That was really good, because I agree with that. Okay, this is obvious, but okay, so what are like 5 non-negotiables that you do every single day? And if you guys have a pen or paper, just make sure you're writing all of this stuff down that she's saying. I know she talks super fast.
No. Okay, I'll try to slow down. I know, I'm the worst. Usually before the Zoom, like I really try to get like in my head of like, slow down, but I totally did not prepare myself for that part. Okay, yes. I do talk really fast. 5 non-negotiables for me, this is something also that I've tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked, and I think we get caught up in doing not the wrong things, but things that aren't necessarily intentional and great for our business. But lately, what's been really beneficial for my business, the 5 non-negotiables are waking up early. And I think what's crazy is that I remember these 6 lists and everybody talking about them on the Zooms, and I'm like, well, what's mine? Like, what is my 6 list? And I would have like psycho tasks of like just stuff to keep me busy. But I realized, because when you sent me these questions earlier, I wanted to prepare my answers, and I was like, oh my gosh, my 6 non-negotiables, 2 or 3 of them aren't necessarily enrolling customers, but they lead into that. So waking up early has been one of the hardest challenges to get over, but has changed my business so drastically, because there's something about starting your day off early. I know you do this too, Ashley. Seeing your Instagram stories motivates the crap out of me. You guys, just starting early, pulling myself out of bed not only gets my mind right, but I also feel like it's something about the time of the day. Some of my team swears about like being night owls, but I swear that when I do a 6 a.m. power hour, 6 to 7, 6 to 8, and I send messages, I have the best day ever because they're flooding in. I don't know if it's because I'm messaging them before they're waking up and they're messaging back right away, but waking up early. 5-second rule was something that was a game changer for me. I'm not perfect at it, but 5-second rule, she talks about just counting down. Your alarm goes off, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, getting out of bed instead of snoozing it. She talks about snoozing it and what that does for like your day and your life. And it's kind of actually crazy. So, jumping out of bed at those morning power hours, waking up early, taking time to exercise and take me time every day has been a non-negotiable, because I'm someone that I'm obsessed with this business, and I have dealt oh my gosh, I've had so many lows in this business where, my marriage was suffering and things were suffering because It Works was number one and I didn't balance well. It's something I still pray about, but I put myself last, and that's why I gain weight, and that's why I hate myself sometimes, and I hate my husband, and everything revolves around keeping yourself healthy. So waking up early and taking time for myself go hand in hand, and those are 2 non-negotiables that keep my business hot, because I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, and that leads into my business. I'm a better coach, I'm a better friend. I really believe that. So those 2 non-negotiables, expanding my network is something I have never stopped since joining, or since I started. Expanding my network, messaging. And then the 5th one, self-development. And this is something, you guys, I know that sometimes when you think about your 6 list or your 5 non-negotiables or whatever, it's like you think about your schedule, especially if you work and you're like, I can't do all of that, because you start to feel like it's too much. Work smarter, not harder, and tie them together. So like today I did from 6 to 7, I woke up and I did a power hour. Usually I do 6 to 8, but I split that up, because my kids wake up at 8:30 and my husband wakes up whenever he wants. So from 6 to 7, I do a power hour, and I'm messaging, expanding, doing all of that. From 7 to 8, I ran/walked on the treadmill for an hour because it was raining outside, and that was taking care of myself. That was me time, and I was listening to an Audible. So there I'm knocking out 3 non-negotiables before 9 o'clock in the morning. So you got to think about it like that too, and don't think that you have to work this business all day, every day. I do that a lot because I choose to, because I'm addicted, but you can work this business having a full-time job and be healthy and not psycho and loving it. I promise you can. You just have to figure out what your 5 non-negotiables are. And again, like, this is something I've tweaked so much. I would have a 6 list of like crazy stuff that probably did not benefit my business, but those are lately what have been really keeping me happy. And when I'm happy, I'm just happy and I'm good at the business.
I love it. I know how you said I wake up early, but ever since I been super pregnant,
oh yeah,
I've been, literally going to bed at 1:30 in the morning. So I know some people on my team are like, she doesn't wake up early. But I know that
she's a liar.
Right. But that's what's cool, is that I don't have to, because I do this all the time, so I can really work whenever I want. But I know Haley, she's always on up early, and I swear the days that I do wake up early, the day almost goes by faster. I don't even know why, but for me, it literally just does. Okay, I love all those, and I think that somebody just asked, okay, Haley, you got it taken care of. Thank you. Okay, so what advice would you give yourself when you just started? what do you, I guess, wish you would have known or whatever when you had just joined?
I think, okay, so the initial answer that I was thinking when I read this was not to give up, but then I was like, well, I didn't give up, but there was so, like, I think that I was so young and naive when I joined, and I killed it. I killed it for a long time, but I took off so fast, and that was great, but it was almost like, it was bittersweet, because it was really hard when I did face that hard time, that first quitter, all of those things, because I didn't wrap my head around it, because I didn't have time to in the beginning. So I think, I don't know. Initially, I was like, well, probably telling myself, that life's going to happen. But honestly, I think the biggest thing personally is not, I wish I would have told myself and actually like believed not to be so sensitive and not to put so much of my heart into certain relationships, not certain, all of my relationships. I have a big heart, and it was yellow for the first 3/4 of my business. I think I've kind of transitioned into red, because I feel like after you've been in this business for so long, it's like you just can't handle certain things. You just can't. But I still have a big heart, and I still cry, and I'm so emotional. But I got so caught, and I still do sometimes get so caught up in those relationships and wanting it more for the person than they want it, and I just wanted to give. And I was doing so good, so I wanted them to do so good. And most of them were doing so good right off the bat. And I don't know. I think what I would have told myself is to just have thicker skin, because in this business, you can't be a little sensitive baby. And I have tried to get stronger. I think I have gotten a lot stronger. I definitely would not be still in this business, but you have to, I wish I would have known the lows that would come with it. And I don't want to scare people when I say that, but I mean, like, I never even thought for a second someone would be mean to me on social media. I never thought that family would unfollow me and never interact on my stuff or laugh at me or, things like that. And I couldn't prepare for myself for that. So I made so many mistakes. And I see them on my time hop sometimes, and it's kind of like just disgusting. Like in the beginning, I would make statuses. I felt like I always had to make statuses when someone hurt me, or when I knew family unfollowed me, and just ugly things. Like I felt like I always had to explain, and I just wish that I could have. And if maybe some of you are just starting out, my advice would be just to know what you have your hands on. And I don't think I knew the bigger picture. And if I did, I would have been okay. So like now when people do that stuff, it's funny. Like it doesn't bother me, because I know what this company has done, and I know where I'm going, and I know I'm not going anywhere either as this company. So I just know that now when something bad happens, it's usually because of the person, right? It's because they're unhappy in whatever way. I just used to think it was me. I thought it was me when someone quit. I thought it was me when someone would do this and this, and if someone unfollowed me, I would read my friend's number every single day, and it would really upset me when it went down. Just things like that. I think that really took a lot of time and heart away from the things that could have probably maybe gotten me stronger earlier, or different things like that. But that would be my biggest thing, is just to try to be as strong as you can, because it's hard, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Please don't waste time being down on those things, because now looking back, they seem so petty, because most of them have become customers, or most of them have apologized, or family now that still have me unfollowed have explained, and they still love us in person, and it's just not even important anymore. So just be strong, and don't get caught up in the stuff that's not making you money.
Yes, I love that. My dad, not my dad. My dad supports me, but at the beginning, he's like, you're posting like 6 times a day. I'm like, yeah. And my brother, so like, I have to unfollow you. I'm like, I don't care, but I feel like I'm that way too. Like I'm definitely yellow, and I don't know if I have like the tiniest bit of red, and I'm so emotional. So I think we're like the exact same on that. How do you go?
Just wait till you have your baby, because that was what really affected me, because I was like, you might think I'm annoying with it works, but you're not even looking at pictures of my son. So that's what really upset me. But it's so funny, because people still now, like Zach's brother, last weekend we were doing a fantasy draft, and he was like, Rachel needs her name to be #bossbabe. And I get so mad still, but I'm just like, just shut up. I make more money than you. Now I'm not crying. I'm just like, dagger back. But it just never, I don't know. It just is never going to go away.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so how do you go about finding potentials? And then based off of that, how are you building relationships with these people? And while you talk, I'm going to go to the restroom, so I will be right back.
Okay, so these two go hand in hand, and I think that's why one of my non-negotiables is expanding my network, because that's what I have to do. I don't do parties. I don't talk to strangers. I like in public. I'm such a hermit. I don't like to leave my house. And if I do, I'm like Rachel. I'm not Rachel It Works. And that's my biggest flaw. I really do pray about that. I pray for like me to gain this crazy confidence where I just want to party all the time, but I just don't have friends. That's just how it is. So I know that social media is what's going to get me to the rest of the top because it's gotten me this far. So I know that in order to build those relationships, I have to just kind of go crazy in certain ways, such as expanding my network on Facebook and Instagram every single day. I don't have any crazy organization tools of how I keep track of people. I'm the worst unorganized person in the world. But honestly, I just pull up my newsfeed on both forums multiple times a day, and I just interact. I know going live helps a lot. Just building those relationships is really what helps. And then messaging. This is always so touchy when you share it on certain Zooms because I never know how other teams do it. But I love cold messaging. That's what's gotten me completely to where I'm at now. I have definitely transitioned from what I used to send. I used to be that typical do not message this thing. That was me. But it was different back then. I feel like nobody heard of It Works. But now just trying to I definitely cold message every single day, but I try to just keep it more laid back. And I'm definitely not cold messaging people I'm not Facebook friends with or not with Instagram. I'm not that type of cold messaging. But I believe in it full force because it starts the transition period into building that relationship. So for example, today on my push that I did with my team, I said, you have to send 50 cold messages on Instagram. This is what I'm using. Please don't use what I'm using because it sounds silly. Like if I can't even read it to you right now, I'll show Ashley, but it sounds silly because it's like, I'm weird. So I made a cold message for myself and it literally starts with that like Cardi B, okay. And because that's just me, I'm just weird. And I say a couple other weird things in it, but it works for me. So I just shared that example. And the reason I shared it to them is because I'm like, most of you won't send this because it's not you and you're not weird. So use what you want to use. But I gave them like that, just to showing them what I sent, just because I'm sending something along the lines of telling them I don't know if they follow me back, even though I do know they follow me back, but then they're going to my Facebook or they're going to my Instagram and looking, but they would kill it. Basically what everybody does, but just tweaking it and using different emojis and making different jokes because I am uncomfortable with cold messaging. Even though I do it every single day and I have for 4 years, it still makes me want to run to the bathroom and go number 2 because you never know what you're going to get. So I don't want you to think that just because I do it every day, it's easy because it freaks me out and I get clammy hands every single time. But because I made it into a message that's kind of funny and maybe weird, I don't get any mean messages back on Instagram anymore. And this is just one message that I started August 1st. So it's been 30 days. But you guys, lately I've been having people message me back saying, oh my gosh, I've gotten messaged so many times, but I've never asked for more info because usually it's annoying. You are so cute. Send me more info, stuff like that. It doesn't always happen like that, but that helps me build relationships and interacting back to those people that like your picture. I don't know, but finding those people to follow or to friend, honestly, I don't know. I hate talking about this because it makes me feel like a thief, but I know everybody else does it the same way. But how I find the people that I follow and friend on Facebook, I just go to some random person that's not affiliated with any other network marketing company, go to their profile picture, and I add a few of their likes, and I do the same thing on Instagram, and that's how I've expanded into all these random different states. And I really, if you're not expanding your network every single day, I encourage you. That is something from the beginning that got me successful right away because you guys have no idea if I'm going to add 10, okay, let's say I add 10 people before bed, they all add me back, and then tomorrow morning I go live and I'm sharing my story about government assistance, living on government assistance, blah, blah, blah. What if one of those moms that I added last night cried herself to sleep because she was trying to figure out how she is going to reapply and get approved for more or something like that? We have the answer to everybody's prayers. And I believe, and I don't think that I'm being naive when I say this, but I believe with my whole heart that every single person on our social medias and out in the world, but I'm not talking to those people out there, I'm talking to social media only because I'm a hermit. I believe that every single person on my social media needs this company. It's whether they need the money or the financial part, or they need the products. We just haven't gotten it across to them, or we haven't talked to them yet. So I know I'm doing them an injustice by not adding people. So you can't feel guilty with that. And then if some people are worried about, I try to make sure I remind people, because I know there's always that one person that's like, well, what if someone asks me if they know me, or what if someone yells at me, or whatever. Yes, that happens to me too. But I usually joke around when someone says, do I know you? And I say, you look familiar, or something like that. But if someone's going to be mean and one of those sassy messages before they block you on Instagram or whatever, you don't really want them on your team anyways if they can't deal with new friends on Facebook or Instagram. So don't get caught up in that. I don't know. Just the more you do, you would be surprised at how many people in this world don't have money issues. Like I signed up the same day she talked to me about the business, and I did have a money issue, but I found a way to do it. You know, I just signed a customer today for $200. She spent $200 and she was in college. I don't know if her mom paid for it. I don't know, but she didn't have a money issue. She commented on host to post. So we just have to make sure we're being loud, consistent. Posting helps me, something, sorry, I'm really rambling here, but the last thing is like, remember not to be just, it works. I see my posts all the time. So 4 years ago on my time hop, but I don't want to trick anybody. Like the last thing I want to do, I feel like I got caught up in it for a second, trying to trick people on Instagram into thinking I wasn't a part of network marketing because I wanted to like trick them and then like bait them and then get them in. But I finally got to a point, and I learned this in, what was that book? High Performance Habits. It was like in the introduction. They were like, we live in a world these days where we post a pretty picture, a perfect pretty picture of our kids, making it seem like what we do at home is nothing and that we don't have to work for our money and it's just easy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we do that. I would find myself, and Dad called me out on this before, I would find myself talking to potentials and they're asking what it took. And I'm like, I got residual income and like, I just get to do it when I want. And I'm like, just never working. It doesn't feel like work. Yeah, freaking right. Like I bust my butt every single day. And I didn't realize that, I guess I kind of was lying, but I didn't realize that I was setting myself up to sign people up that are lazy, because I'm making them seem like it's so perfect. And so I stopped trying to hide that I was a part of It Works, that I don't work my butt off every single day. And I started getting those quality people. And so when you're posting and everything, what's going to help you interact and build those relationships and expand and build that little, following and that little fan club is being you. Yes, you post about It Works. Yes, you post those lifestyle posts, but I'm also trying to post a funny thing that my kids do because they have me laughing every single day, and I'm a mom. So I want to add value to my page. So I want people to know when they go to my page that I love Jesus, I love my children, I love my husband, and I love It Works. And I think you can find all 4 of those if you go to my Facebook right now. So don't just be It Works and spammy and copy and paste. Post those funny memes. When I really want a meme with a white background, I go to Ashley. Don't do this. I just have to get this off my chest, Ashley. I go to your Instagram and I scroll back to like 2016 and I save them so you don't realize that they're yours. And I hope you don't realize, because you have the best ones. I don't know where you get them, but they're so funny. But things like that, you guys, like when you show people you're real and you have a sense of humor, stuff like that, that's when you're going to see those people come out of the woodwork that aren't It Works followers, and they're real people. They see you're real. You can make jokes, smile your friends, then you can insert the business. So things like that, that's what I do every day. I just love this business so much. And I know I bust my butt every single day, but it's also fun. And when it stops being fun, that's when I have those hard months. That's when I'm crabby. That's when I think the business is so hard, and we have to just get back to the basics and just be us. And remember, you have to practice what you preach. I'm always telling my team, don't make a separate business page. Tie It Works into the life you're already sharing. That's the biggest mistake you can do, is keeping It Works separate. So let's not do that to ourselves. If we're going to preach that, we have to tie It Works into the life we're already sharing.
Yes, I love that. And it's so true with like trying to hide it, because whenever like the corporate page was removed after the $20 promotion, like it took it out of my bio. And so ever since then, well, not since then, but whenever that happened, I was like, well, I'm not putting it back in my bio. I got 50% more people to accept my friend request. Mm-hmm. And for a little bit, I was like, my online business, and I wouldn't say It Works. And it's like, why would I not? And I was even telling my distributors yesterday, I made a post about like me being pregnant and then It Works. And it was like, I felt guilty for some reason to like connect the two, but there's no reason why I should be, because there is someone out there who maybe they're pregnant or maybe they just had a kid and they want to be able to stay home with their kids. So anytime that you can make that opportunity post, and like you said, if you have that good post, talk about how basically you worked your ass off, or you are right now, to be able to do, what you want to do. So that was just like an eye opener, because I don't know why, but I'm like, oh, I think that people are going to be like, oh, of course she has to tie the two together.
I know you're talking about.
That's my job, So like I should be able to do that because I worked hard for it, and now I'm able to do that. I know there's people out there who need it. Okay, so these next 4 are like the last 4. So basically, okay, and I know you have, but just short and simple. Have you ever had to rebuild? If so, at what rank? I know I have at least at like 4 ranks already. So, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, so to keep this super fast, when I went triple diamond, I got pregnant. I found out I was pregnant 4 weeks after. And I was in for a rude awakening having a second boy. I thought it would be a breeze, and I got sick and I was miserable every single day, and my business really, really, really suffered. I got a really high, my first triple diamond check was 13,000, and I just felt like I was rich, and I felt like it was great. And I just kind of lost a little bit of love for ItWorks because I was so miserable with life that it kind of, I slowed down. And then the next month I was so scared to check prelims because I was like, it's my first month in my whole entire business that I actually sucked because I'm pregnant. And I'm so scared to check prelims. And I checked prelims and our check was $16,000. And instead of using that as kind of like a, I don't know, like a warning of like, did you have time to turn it around? I like literally thought that again, I was rich. I was residual income. Like I don't have to work. And from that point on, it went down, down, down until a couple months later, I lost rank. I lost triple. And by that point I was huge pregnant and hating life. My marriage was suffering really bad. I wasn't myself, and that life really just honestly sucked. And I hated everything, and I was not pleasant to be around. And I put my business off. And then I had my son in November of 2016. And that same month I lost double. And so I went from triple to diamond. And when you're making really good money as a triple diamond, you spend that kind of money. And so we were a little bit living outside of our means. We were making just enough to cover our bills, and our bills were really expensive. And so Zach had gone back to work. Our marriage was still kind of on the rocks because I was ticked off now that I'm going to have 2 kids by myself as a single mom. Like I didn't sign up for this. Like I'm so used to having him home. And I really struggled, you guys. Again, I know we're keeping this super short, so I can't like get into my feelings and stuff. And if I start crying, it'll be like 5 years. But I really struggled, you guys, in December of 2016, really, of if I was going to start this again, because I sucked for so bad, almost like 6 or 7 months, not doing anything that I'm like, I've been so bad that now I believe that I'm bad at this and that I was a one-hit wonder. And if you're so continuously not doing something, it's a habit. And I didn't know how to do it because I didn't have love for it. And this is why I think lately, you know, with the season we're in where people are coming and going, it's so funny to me because you will have times in this business where it's just not fun. And I don't know if it's necessarily losing your love. I did lose my love for it because I felt like ItWorks took everything from me when we lost all of our money, but it was all me. It was all me. And so I just basically what I did to get over it, my husband went back to work. My newborn baby was horrible. I love him so much, but he cried every day until 8 months old. He had so many issues, and I was just, life was hard. And I got to a point where I really had to visualize what would happen if I don't restart ItWorks and if I do go back to work. And I had to visualize it so vividly that I had mentally prepared the speech I would do on Facebook because, you know, with my following, if I go back to work, I have to say something. And like, I was visualizing that, what people would say, how many phone calls I would get, all of these things. It wasn't even a matter of, am I going to join another company? I thought that I would actually have to go back to work for a second. And I almost kind of wanted to. And so I started visualizing that and visualizing how hard life would really be. And then what really got me was when I started to picture my kids. Ew, I really wasn't going to cry during this part. But when I visualized my kids in that, when my husband went back to work, my son was 3, Carter was 3, and he wanted to know where daddy was. Zach only went back to work for 3 months and he's home now for life. But, that's another story. But Zach Carter would ask where daddy was, and I was the one that answered. And so what really freaking got me was, who's he going to ask when mommy's gone too? And just, oh my gosh, my heart's beating so fast. But when I put the boys into the picture, I just like instantly, it wasn't that I just got my love back, but I'm like, it's all on me. I can do it. I did it once, and I'm not going to give up on them. And so I just posted about my why, and I like tried getting in depth about it in a different way because sometimes I forget to share my story. But you have to have a why so strong in this business. And I think that sometimes even us as moms, we lose out on how strong our why really is. And so that was what I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit rock bottom, and then I had to picture myself staying there in a really bad way. And that's what got me. And so I just redid, I started all over again. I made a chat with like 10 people that were working. And again, I'm a lifetime triple diamond. I should be building for presidential, and I can barely fill up a diamond chart. And that's when people have those pity parties. That's when people stay down and it's easier to stop or it's easier to not start again. And I just redid everything. I just did what I needed to do. I started watching YouTube videos every day, taking notes on the stuff that seemed like common sense. And as I started doing that, I was like retraining my brain to be a leader again, it felt like. And then I was practicing what I was preaching. I was showing people how I was signing customers. And in And in January, I got a $500 raise. In February, I regained double. In March, I regained triple. And then in April, I regained presidential. And so from January to April, you guys, I gave myself a $17,000 raise, and nobody was given to me. Nothing was given to me. I just wanted to do it again because I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't want to be a joke. I knew that if I did go back to work, I would have to work just as hard there. So if I did this once and I know what to do, might as well do it again. So yes, I have had my business suffer multiple different times. That was the drastic one. But at the end of the day, when it has, it's just because of me, or it's because, I don't know. Now I talk about that story so much. I used to be so embarrassed, but I talk about it so much. And I feel like, God, I don't know, just the timing of it was kind of absolutely crazy. If I really got into some stuff that I haven't shared with certain people, it was just really mind blowing. But God, I just trusted God through it. And I just remember praying in December before I restarted, if this isn't for me, please slam the door in my face. Because, you know, you get to a point where you like feel like you don't have your identity. It works was everything. And I couldn't even be good at that. So I'm like, am I supposed to leave? Like, God, do you want me to leave? Like, what do you want from me? And he never slammed the door in my face. So I took that as a sign that he was telling me to get up and do it. And I just did it all over again.
Oh, I love that. I feel like I've even had moments like that before. And then like, it's like you get an email and it's like you signed up a customer and it's
Yes.
like EBB and it's like, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
And to bounce off of what you were saying, just with like hating it works, you know, not that you hated it, but you were blaming it. But it's like, so many people do that when they lose their rank. And it's like, look back, like, have you worked? Nobody told you to make this your full-time income.
Yes, yes.
Go back to work. Like, that's what 90% of the world does. They go to freaking work every day. So if you have to go back to work when you lose your rank, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I think so many people, they're like, well, I'm not passionate about it, or, you know, I just don't love it anymore. It's like, if you're making a good income, it doesn't really matter if you love it or not. You have to provide for your family. So you need to pick up and find your passion again so you can get to that next level. And then, okay, so to kind of go off of that, so have you ever had someone that's like one of your best friends leave the company, whether they were in your downline, your sideline, your upline, or anything like that? Have you ever had that happen to you? And if so, how did you handle that? And don't cry.
It's just like, it's kind of honestly funny. Maybe it's funny. Maybe I'm laughing so I don't cry. I'm actually okay though. But honestly, I've had people on my team leave, and some really hurt. Actually in the beginning of this business, or beginning of this year, when they had that surf and turf, two of the two emeralds that popped that first month quit the next month, and we were close. Oh my gosh, that was like a hard 48 hours. I was definitely depressed in bed, like I wasn't wanting to quit, but I literally, like, my heart physically hurt. It hurt really bad. That was a hard one. But the biggest things, honestly, you guys, it's so hard. Even being in it for 4 years, you guys, the person that directly enrolled me, we went to the same high school. She was a year younger than me, and we were not in the same friend group. She made different choices than me, and I was kind of a goody two-shoes. And so I only signed up under her because, again, you guys, with part of my story, she was the only one posting about it. If anybody, I swear, if anybody else was on my social media posting about it, I don't care who it was, I would have signed with them. But I had no other choice. And so I signed up with her. We started to get close about 6 months into my business, and then we got really close, like best friend, FaceTime every single day, close. And there's just a lot that I don't want to talk about, but she did me really, 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 really dirty. And I ended up blocking her. She ended up quitting. But that was hard because it affected a lot of aspects in my life and business. But I never wanted to quit from it. It motivated me even more. And then recently, so she enrolled me, and then the person above her I got really close with. Megan McLeod was like my best friend, and she kind of just adopted me, and she just recently left. And that was kind of a hard phone call because she actually called me. But I think I'm to a point now, and I know some of you guys can't say this. Some of you guys are new, and maybe this just happened to you or whatever, but I'm to a point now where Zach's my person. My husband is my person. I react on my feelings, and I'm a little bit angry when I feel a certain way because I have a big heart. And so I have to talk to him about it. So you need a person. And I just try to put my phone away when those things happen and talk to him because he's just got so much wisdom in the way he explains things, and he talks me off the ledge. But honestly, I know I am so needy. I'm a stage 5. I honestly am. And I sometimes, I cling to Cami all the time, like feeling like I need, but I don't. Like, I don't need an upline. You don't need an upline. Even if you're not a presidential, whether you're a distributor, executive, whatever, what you need is just to be a self-starter. And I know this is something that is like easier said than done, but coming from a stage 5 clinger, I'm so needy. I need so much love and attention. I'm so annoying. I still do my business all by myself. Like, I use YouTube. I know that all of the resources are out there. So it did suck having 2 of my uplines leave, but it doesn't affect me. It affects my heart. And we're not, both friendships kind of have ended. Well, the first one definitely ended, but the second one has ended at this point. And it sucks, but I just believe that this is another bad thing. And even when it hurts so bad, I just think that friends this is something that Zach had to preach in my head, is that like people come and go, different walks of life, different seasons. The friend you have now, he keeps telling me all my best friends now aren't going to be my best friends in 2 years. And I'm like, no, don't say that. You don't know that. But I don't know if that even helped. But yes, I have had it, and you will have it too. And it always hurts. It really always hurts. But that's just when I try to just pray, and just sometimes you just have to unplug for a day, because I react on feelings and I want to make statuses to defend myself. I want to call people out. I want to fight. I want to just have that last word because I love this company. But I know that that's detrimental.
I feel like that's how I am too. Like, you want to protect it. And
yes.
It's like, you know, I've gone through this with sidelines and currently going through this right now. And it's so hard because it's like, how you feel like you don't know why, but then, you know, it's like, then you go to church and like the sermon is exactly what you're struggling with, you know, or it's like, you know, you may not know, but like if you live with God's grace, like it's okay, because you know that it's all part of his plan. And I'm like slowly starting to like see that all unfold right now. And it's just so like, even though right now you may not understand it, you're going to get past it. And like in 6 months, you're going to be like, oh, well, now I know why that happened, you know? And it really is like that friendship. It's like a 2-way road. It's not one lane. So, you know, if you're doing your part, you want to keep that friendship after, you know, whatever might happen and they leave, then you just have to do that. And the thing is, you know, we did not join, or you didn't join for your upline. I didn't join for anyone but myself. So even though those people might have helped you get to where you want to be, they're not the reason why you joined this company or why you stayed in the company or anything like that. So that was so good. I love it. I know a few people needed to hear that. So, okay, just the last thing. I know you basically said like your biggest struggle is being emotional. What do you feel like your biggest strength is?
I think being relatable, which this is one of those things that's like catch-22. I think being relatable, when it comes back to being open, I don't know. My biggest, I keep talking about this on like the leadership pages and stuff. Like, I'm really good at running the runners because I ran and I know how to run, but I struggle more with like the people that are taking their time because I don't necessarily know how to. And I don't know. I didn't have it easy, but I just worked my butt off. So I think I'm really good at those people that want to get to the next level fast and they're putting in the work. I think I'm really good at getting them there and training them there. I think I'm a good leader when it comes to that. And I think I've gotten better with keeping my yellow caged in when appropriate. I don't know. I just used to literally let people walk all over me and just cry all the time. And I didn't really know how to be read, but I feel like because I've had so many friendships come and go in this business and I put my heart on the line, that I think that could be one of my biggest strengths is when my team is struggling with that, because we make best friends with our runners. Usually, if you think about it, I was just having this conversation. I think about all my diamonds. At one point, if I'm not still best friends with them, I was best friends with every single one of them, because when they're going from distributor to diamond, you're hand in hand running together. You are best friends. And so it's hard when you make those relationships so close and you get so close and you drop your guard. And then before you know it, it's a little bit unhealthy and you don't have that clear line in the sand of this is a business and this is a friendship. And sometimes you keep it separate. So I think that that's something I'm good at. It's weird to say something that I'm really good at, but I think I'm good at it because I've made that mistake so many times. So I try to learn from my mistakes, and some of my mistakes have been hurtful and have been bad, and I'm just a human, but I try to learn from them and train my team. And sometimes it's easier to train your team on not putting their heart in things, even though like it's the worst thing you do. You're like, don't do this because I do it all the time.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Do you have anything else you want to share, or?
No, I really don't think so. I was thinking though, while you were talking about that friendship thing, something I did want to just add in real quick, because I don't know if anybody else on here needs to hear this, but about people leaving.
No, sorry.
When this is something that Zach has tried to train me on. No, okay, I encourage you to know the difference when someone leaves, whether because this is how am I trying to word it. Not everybody leaves for another company. Sometimes people just really stop and they go back to work, or they just stop because of their season. Something that I have to deal with every single day that's so hard for me is to sometimes keep that work relationship, right? Like I'm not talking about people that leave for another MLM. I'm talking about people, just it's not their season anymore and they gracefully go out. I used to always, I didn't realize it until Zach told me that I just cut it off. I just cut it off. And he's like, some of these people you've been so close with for a year, let's say, and you guys have been a part of each other's lives. Our kids play, and then they don't want to be a part of it anymore. And it's not like I'm mean. I don't even forget about them, but I just kind of like let them go. And Zach has told me so many times that like I can still be friends with them, and I can still, I don't know, just try to keep that. How am I trying to explain this? I'm so sucking at this last tip. Way to go out with a bang, Rachel. But just trying to differentiate. I don't even know how to use that word. Differentiate, like the difference in between when it's bad and it's toxic, but it's just life and it's okay. Because the reason I say this is because I've had situations where I've been so close with someone, they've left nicely, and we just kind of stopped. I stopped interacting. I unfollowed them because I just moved on to the next person, and then they joined again under someone else because we weren't friends anymore. Or they signed up as a customer under someone else, or they've told somebody that it really hurt them because they thought our friendship was deeper than just the business. And I don't want to be that person. I don't know. Sometimes I think that it's only this business, only the relationships in this business. And I don't know. I don't know if that helped you, but just you don't always have to cut that relationship off. I do think a lot of times it's usually harmful and toxic the way they leave, but I know lately I've had a lot of people leave nicely. And it's something that I'm really struggle with, but you never know what can happen. I've had people join me for a second time and absolutely kill it, and they're still in the game. So you just never know. Don't burn that bridge. Don't burn that bridge, because they can send referrals, they can come back around, and you just always want to be that person that they come to.
Yes, I love that. And I feel like, when people do, like, just supporting them, even if they do go do something else, just like supporting them and loving them through it, because we know we have the best company. So as long as we ourselves as distributors, we can be our best for them, that I know that people will come back around. And I actually just signed up a distributor. I think she's on here.
I see you, girl. You signed up too.
Yeah. But she was a distributor like a year and a half ago. And when she stopped working, I was never mean to her. I've always still commented on her posts. I always still tagged her in the team page, even though she never got on anything. And I always still was close with her, invited her to go to church with me, even though she was not working. And now she just signed back up again because she's pregnant. So just still continuing, like you said, to have that relationship with people, care about them, and, not let the business side of it, like affect your guys' friendship. And like, it is so true, because you never want someone to say, oh, well, yeah, I was going to join Ashley again, but she deleted me off Facebook and took me off of all the team pages or whatever.
Yes.
If you go to a different company, it's different. You have to be off the team page. But if you kind of do your own thing, that's different. But I am so thankful for you. That was so, so good. And I just know that we are all so thankful for you. And I'm just so excited. That was so, so good. So thank you so much for pouring into us. And Haley, did you already put it in the chat? Okay, thank you. There's another Zoom if anybody wants to get on. It actually starts in about 5 minutes. If you guys want to hop on that, you can. And I will post the recording, and I'll send it over to Rachel too. But thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate you so much. And I hope you guys all have such a good night.